Welcome back to another Micmac Tabletop review. Today we'll be taking a look at a cold bluing restoration project comparing Birchwood Super-Blue and Brownell Oxpho-Blue on an FEG P9RZ pistol. This is a follow-up restoration video on this 1980s Hungarian-made FEG P9RZ 9mm pistol. I did a full review on this P9RZ pistol last month. What you're seeing here is the pistol after restoration. While certainly not perfect, I think you'll appreciate the improvement if you take a look at this pistol before restoration. And here we are before. This pistol was obviously very rough, although I'll admit I've seen much worse. Still, it was so rusted and pitted, to be honest, it just wasn't realistic to expect a flawless result. And believe it or not, I actually chose this pistol specifically because its finish was in such bad shape. I was looking for a project gun that would give me a chance to show what could be done in restoration. Not only that, but also to determine if there might be a difference in the results of cold bluing agents. Now before we go any further, let's make sure this gun is cleared first. And by the way, if you enjoy this review, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. A few years ago, I started undertaking rebluing projects for myself and for friends. A gunsmith friend of mine gave me his leftover bottle of Birchwood Casey Super-Blue to try out. He said his experience was that he had good results doing entire rifles and shotguns with Super-Blue. So that was the beginning, and because my local gun stores only carried Birchwood Casey bluing products, I've continued its use ever since. If you watch my videos, you already know that I've used it on many pistols, rifles, and shotgun restorations. I'm certainly not married to Birchwood Casey Super-Blue. I'll use whatever gives me the best results. But because it seems to work and was readily available, I've stuck with Super-Blue. That is, until now. So what caused me to question if there might be a better cold bluing project out there? Simple. I had this P9RZ project and it run out of Super-Blue. When I tried to buy more at my local store, they only had Birchwood Casey Perma-Blue left on the shelves. I bought the Perma-Blue but wondered, well, what's the difference? And what about Perma-Blue paste, which I also had? What I could find based on their MSD sheets, they are only slightly different formulations, but basically they rely on a selenium compound for the darkening stain. The Birchwood Casey website suggests Super-Blue for hardened and highly polished steel containing nickel and chrome alloy. Perma-Blue is suggested more for touch-up projects and regular firearm bluing. And here's the thing, Super-Blue contains more of the staining agent selenium, and Perma-Blue paste is just that, a paste form of Perma-Blue. So I guess I needed to find more Super-Blue if I wanted to continue my project. That meant ordering on Amazon. If you've watched many of my restoration videos, you've heard me point out that the cold bluing results I was getting seemed to depend on the quality of the steel. That was an assumption that I had verified working on many different guns and obtaining different outcomes. But it also seems to suggest that other products, other than Birchwood Casey, might give me different or even better results as well, based upon a different formulation. My major gripe about cold bluing with Super-Blue is the charcoal rather than black results and its overall lack of durability. Compared to original finishes, Super-Blue often leaves the surface with a dark gray appearance. And the fact that the Super-Blue finish seemed to rub off when cleaning the gun with common gun cleaning solvents like basic CLP, just wiping a firearm down, you can often see the finish coming off on the cloth. Not good. And it's why I suggest using preservative oil rather than cleaning oil on reblued guns. Is this issue better addressed with a different cold bluing product, or is this just the nature of cold bluing? Up to now, I've always said that I thought these products were pretty much the same. Well, to be honest, I'm not so sure. While searching Amazon to order more Birchwood Casey Super-Blue for this project, I came across Brownell's Oxpho-Blue and wondered, how does Oxpho compare to Super-Blue? There's no doubt Birchwood Casey Super-Blue dominates the market in its usage, but that may have more to do with marketing, promotion, and price. None of my local stores carry Oxpho, and Super Blue is certainly less expensive. I wasn't able to find much on performance comparison of the two, although most of what I did find seems to suggest Oxpho gave better results in some applications. Again, back to the quality of the steel. So here we are. I've got this pistol cold bluing project, and thanks to Amazon, I've got some Birchwood Casey Super Blue, and I've got some Brownell's Oxpho-Blue. Let's see what we can learn. The first thing to acknowledge is that this FEG P9RZ pistol has a terrible finish on it, and the rust in the pitting would suggest a poor grade of steel, although I have no idea what happened to this pistol that led to this condition. But there's no doubt we might get different results with a different gun. As such, this experiment result will have limited implications. Nonetheless, let's see what happens. I've begun the process of preparing the surface on this gun by first disassembling it. There's not much bluing left, but I went ahead and used Birchwood KC Blue and Rust Remover as directed. I've used this product before with mixed results. This time I really couldn't see much benefit, but then the surface was pretty bad. Sanding began with 120 grit wet dry sandpaper. I was reluctant to use anything coarser because I was concerned about retaining the lettering on the slide and the frame. The thing about the initial sanding is that it usually seems like the hardest and seems to take forever. But it was also evident that the pitting wasn't going to be easy to erase. There are also these gouges that were very deep. Makes you wonder what on earth happened to this gun. I went as far as I dared, and I hope that the remaining sanding and bluing might improve the stubborn blemishes. I used a wire brush around areas that I couldn't reach easily with sandpaper. Next was the 400 grit paper. Now the 800 grit paper. Now the 1500 grit. Now the 3000 grit. Finally, 0000 steel wool. Next, we'll clean everything with denatured alcohol. So here we are ready to blue. Unless you're welding steel into these gouges and filling in the holes left by the pitting, they are what they are. Can't be helped. They won't be so obvious once the parts are blued, but they're there upon close inspection. Also, if you want a detailed explanation of the cold bluing process, check out my episode 2023-24, Rebluing Steps, Tips, and Tricks for more information. Now the question is, which cold bluing product will give us the better results? I've decided the best way to compare these products is to do 1/2 of each part with each product. Why not just compare the slide to the frame, for example? Because the slide and the frame may be of different compositions of metal. That wouldn't be a fair test. So I've taped off a portion of the slide and a portion of the frame. We'll apply Super Blue to the left side and Oxpho-Blue to the right side. First, I'm going to apply the Super Blue as directed. But that's not all. Here is a sample piece of metal I used in that earlier how-to bluing video. As you can see, we have one side blued with Super Blue from that project. Still looks really good. Let's turn it over, and this time I'm going to test 1/2 of the bare area with Super Blue and the other half with Oxpho-Blue. This will give us yet another test area of bluing. By the way, one of the comments I saw on the internet regarding the use of Oxpho was that as many as 10 applications were necessary to get the level of desired dark bluing. Personally, my observation is that beyond the first 3 applications of Super Blue, additional applications did not appear to make much of a difference. but it would be interesting to give a few more applications to each of the parts just to see if there's any observable further darkening. As such, I'm going to apply a total of 6 coats each. If you've watched any of my restoration videos, you'll know that I try to apply the solution liberally and allow super blue solutions to sit as long as the reaction is visible, rather than the suggested 30 seconds. In this case, I'm following the Birchwood KC recommended 30 seconds as instructed. We're going to clean the area with denatured alcohol. Apply the bluing agent. Wait 30 seconds. Rinse with water. Wipe dry. Buff lightly with fine steel wool and repeat, starting with the cleaning with denatured alcohol. And there we are after 6 applications. Looks fairly good. But let's see what Oxpho-Blue will do. I'll reverse the taping so that the newly glued super blue side is taped off, and now we'll apply the Oxpho-Blue to the right side of the parts. The instructions for application for rebluing an entire gun with Oxpho-Blue are similar to those for applying super blue, but we'll adhere to the specific instructions, including the 60-second working time. We'll repeat for a total of 6 applications as we did with the super blue. Here we are after the 6th application of Oxpho-Blue. All that's left is to remove the tape and do a final wipe down. I can't really see much of a difference on the pistol parts, so taking the tape off of the piece of scrap metal here, yeah, I do see a little darker bluing on the Oxpho side. Interesting. The final step for super blue is an overnight coating of oil. Oxpho does not suggest that requirement, so I was careful to only apply oil to the left side of these parts. After an overnight rest, I wiped the parts down. So here we are with the reblued FEG P9RZ slide and frame. The left side has been blued with Birchwood KC Super Blue, and the right side has been blued with Brownell's Oxpho Cold Bluing Solution. Is there a noticeable difference? To be honest, the difference between the Super Blue and Oxpho-Blue results are hard to see on this pistol's frame, and the difference on the slide is only very slight, but it is in favor of the Oxpho-Blue when it comes to darkening of the bluing. I was afraid I was going to need to redo the bluing if there was much of a difference on this gun. No worries there, the differences are only barely visible and it has to be in the right light. However, you can see a bit more of a darkening difference on the steel sample here, suggesting that Oxpho-Blue just might demonstrate darker results than Super Blue on some steel parts. Now, on the question of durability, it would seem that the amount of tracing that results from wiping a blued surface might be a reasonable measure of what level of durability we might expect. I admit that it's not a perfect test, but let's see what we get. We're doing this after the Birchwood Super Blue has set overnight with a thin coat of preservative gun oil on the finish, and everything's been wiped down with dry paper towels. Starting with the dry cotton cloth and the Super Blue side first. Now the Oxpho-Blue side. Okay, it would appear that there's more coming off on the Super Blue side. Now let's try the oiled cotton cloth. First, the Super Blue side. Now the Oxpho-Blue side. Based on the amount of residue, the results actually look equal to me. It may be that there was some of that overnight oil still on that Super Blue side, when I wiped it down with the dry cloth, so we saw a bit more residue. I don't know, but the overall amounts using the oil cloth seem fairly equal. Now, before we end today's video, I'd like to remind you, if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe down below. And thanks for watching. Overall, I still think the darkening difference is pretty minimal between the two products, at least as they performed on this old gun. On this scrap steel, yep, I can see a slight difference. So the results of this experiment have indeed convinced me that given the choice of bluing agents, I'll probably go with the Oxpho-Blue over the Super-Blue with the possibility of a darker finish. But I won't get my hopes up for anything really dramatic. It might just be me, but I couldn't really see any real benefits to the 3 additional applications on the use of either the Super-Blue or Oxpho-Blue. I have other guns I've restored with only 3 applications of Super-Blue, and comparing those results to the results on this pistol, with its 6 applications, I don't really see any significant better bluing. And if we compare the fresh bluing sample steel part here to the opposite side with its 3 applications of Super-Blue I did months ago, I see no significant difference. My conclusion is that if applied properly, 3 applications ought to provide good enough results when using either bluing agent. Both Super-Blue and Oxpho-Blue surfaces seem to shed their bluing when clean. That's probably just one of the downsides of cold bluing and something to keep in mind when cleaning a cold blued firearm. Okay, here we are with the reassembled FEG P9RZ. Certainly cold bluing won't give you the same finish as a factory bluing job, but compared to what it looked like before, I'd say it turned out pretty good. And obviously the pitting and gouges are still there, but this is a good improvement. And I don't have much in this gun, but given how it looks now, I could probably recover my investment if I wanted. And I've learned something about Oxpho-Blue and Super-Blue cold bluing agents. It would appear that, at least as far as I could tell, there's only very minor differences between Oxpho-Blue and Super-Blue, although those slight performance differences do favor Oxpho-Blue. Now, that being said, since none of my local stores carry Oxpho-Blue, I'd have to order it online and pay the higher price and shipping charge. So would I wait for the Amazon delivery again for Oxpho-Blue, or just pick up a bottle of Super-Blue at a local store? Honestly, I'd probably just pick up the Super-Blue. I hope you found this review useful, and remember, any weapon you carry is better than the one you left at home. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll be back for my next tabletop review. Until next time, stay safe.